We have been hearing about the Vernee Apollo flagship for a long time, maybe a bit too long. The company did take such sweet time to launch the flagship smartphone, and after months of promotions, the device was officially released in December 2016. The Apollo was an important device, not just for Vernee but also for local Chinese smartphone enthusiasts. The flagship promised stellar build quality and performance, but we know, not many promises are kept in this market. Hence, it was important to see whether a new entrant like Vernee can live up to our expectations. In the box you have the following: Vernee Apollo smartphone with scratch guard installed, a decent VR headset, strap for VR headset, SIM ejector pin, manual. Like I said above, the Vernee Apollo is extremely well built. I use the OnePlus 3T as my daily driver, and I have to say the Apollo matches the OnePlus model in terms of a design. The back of the Vernee Apollo is as good as the OnePlus and it looks beautiful. Coming to the front, after like a week of using the phone, I have seen that the scratch guard that comes with the phone isn't too good. The basic front looks good, but make sure to change the scratch guard with something better. For a phone that's marketed as a flagship, I would have expected better scratch-resistant film up front. However, don't worry, the screen underneath is protected by Gorilla Glass 3 and it is just the scratch guard that's not up to the mark. The Vernee Apollo feels good in hand. It may not be as thin or lightweight as some other flagships, but the difference isn't too noticeable. You have the power and volume keys on the right side. At the bottom, there is a USB Type-C port along with dual speakers. On the left side, there are slots for micro SD card as well as dual SIM cards. Finally, on top, you have a regular 3.5mm headphone jack. Coming to the back, you have a slightly protruding camera hump with dual LED dual-tone flash on its left. Just below it, you have a round fingerprint sensor that works well. Rest of the back is clean and polished, except for the Vernee logo down below. The grey antenna bands go well with the overall phone's design language. The Apollo comes with a 5.5-inch 2K display. Yes, the phone boasts of such high resolution and joins the elite club of Quad HD display flagships. The display on the Vernee Apollo looks pretty decent. The colors come out well, and thanks to the super thin side bezels on the display, the overall display experience is good. Personally, I would have liked the display to be a bit warmer so that it's more pleasant to the eyes. However, note that the phone comes without screen buttons, which eat up some space on the screen. Also, the bezels on the top as well as the bottom are a bit large, at least larger than what I would have wanted. I feel the display would have looked even better if the bezels were smaller in these areas. Vernee is marketing the Apollo's 2K display as ideal for VR experience. This is exactly why you get a free VR headset inside the box, which is a nice addition. The box is pretty well built for a freebie. The 2K display isn't the best I have seen for VR, but it does provide a decent VR experience. So for someone who wants to watch a few VR videos, the Apollo would be fine. In the hardware department, the Vernee Apollo won't disappoint most users. Like I said above, the Helio X25 chipset is a good performer and is more than enough to fulfill all your everyday needs. The UI is stock Android Marshmallow. Yes, unfortunately, the phone isn't on Nougat yet, and the UI is smooth and responsive. Under the hood, the Vernee Apollo comes with 2.52 GHz Helio X25 chip with 4 GB of RAM and 64 GB of internal storage. These are pretty decent specs for under $300 smartphone. Now we know Helio X25 is not as good as Snapdragon 820 in terms of GPU performance, but gaming was pretty smooth on the phone. Vernee Apollo's fingerprint works well. The phone unlocks in less than a second. I played a few games on the Apollo, like Asphalt 8 and Subway Surfer. I found no missed frames or hiccups in the gameplay, as the Helio X25 chip managed to render the graphics well. So, although on paper, the Snapdragon 821 beats the Apollo by a great margin, in real life, for everyday usage, the Deca-Core X25 should be enough. Overall, the Vernee Apollo is a great mid-range smartphone. But if I had to point out a drawback of the device, then it would be its camera. Inside, The phone comes with a Sony IMX230 camera sensor with f/2.2 aperture. Now, this is a pretty good setup, capable of churning out good quality pictures. But the quality of images captured doesn't just depend on the sensor inside, but also on the software optimization from the company. This is where I feel the Apollo could have done better. The default camera app takes a few seconds to focus on an object, and sometimes it even takes multiple trials for a successful lock. Sometimes, especially indoors, the phone managed to capture grainy images. Given the slow focus speed and the grainy image result, I wasn't too happy with the camera experience. However, there's a trick. If you can resist from focusing on an object, the camera turns out to be quite good. Don't touch the camera screen when you are trying to lock in on an object. By default, the Apollo's camera locks in on the object in front of you quickly. If you try to touch the area you want to focus, the camera app tries to focus again, which is where things get slow and grainy. So, I would suggest just point and shoot. Just point at the object, see an area you want to capture, and shoot it quickly. You should be able to get better images. I was continuously using the Vernee Apollo on Wi-Fi and I didn't notice any drop in speed or signal. Pairing to speakers, wearables, and even other phones via Bluetooth was also pretty straightforward. No issues in these two departments. The call quality is decent and you won't have issues talking on the phone for a while. The speaker output is pretty good as the sound comes out loud and clear. The headphone output is also decent as you get clear audio through good headphones. I didn't find any specific issues with GPS as well. What's disappointing is that the Vernee Apollo comes with Android Marshmallow out of the box. I haven't heard about the Nougat update for the phone yet, despite Apollo Lite and Thor getting them, but I am hoping that this company Flagship gets the Android 7 update soon. Given that the Helio X25 is an efficient dual-core chipset, you easily get a day with the Vernee Apollo. Now, 3180 mAh isn't exactly big in today's standard, but it manages to last an entire day with moderate usage. But what's best about the Vernee Apollo is that the phone charges very quickly. You keep the phone on charge for half an hour and the charge goes up from 15% to 50% plus in that time. That's pretty impressive for a budget flagship smartphone. If you manage to charge the Apollo for like 30 minutes, you are set for an additional 4 or 5 hours of usage.